And we're live. It's the last one. We're here. We're reviewing the World Cup, which happened.
So the Conference World Cup is all concluded.
So we know our winners. We know who. Ollie, put it on silent. What are you doing?
Some technical difficulties well covered subtly there by Sam.
As you probably gathered, we got intern Ollie with us in today, doing an absolute stellar job on. No, don't do yourself down, mate.
On the social media side of things.
Yeah. So comments, questions, suggestions, send them in to him. Whilst we go through what happened in the semi-finals and the finals. Final. There was just one of them.
There was a redundant game as well.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that again.
We played Belgium B again, but spoilers in case you jumping the gun there a little bit. But you've probably seen it all over the news coverage anyway.
Yep, so we had the first semi-final. We had James Hamilton's Elite Business IT, aka France, versus Dan Smith, Sports and Spinal Physio, aka Belgium. This one was very tight. We thought it would be tight. We thought Belgium might nick it.
Yeah. Just before we go any further, should we just say, because we just rewatched live from last week prior to the semi-final, or the semi-finals, there were two of those. Well, we got that spectacularly wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely 0% correct.
We got the right combinations. Belgium v England and France v Croatia, but we got it the wrong way around.
Ultimately, I feel we are clutching at straws a little bit.
Absolutely. So yeah, France won that 1-0. Belgium out in the semis, queuing them for a third place playoff game against what would turn out to be England, who lost in extra time to Croatia 2-1. Running out of steam at the vital hurdle there. Croatia's quality midfield stepped it up in the second half and knocked us out. For us to then play Belgium B team again, and this time lose even more.
Obviously Mike had a great time on Saturday watching that. Did you even watch?
I watched some of the second half.
Yeah.
Saw Hazard tear apart the defence a bit,
which is part of the course. I didn't even watch it.
You refused.
No, it wasn't even that I refused. I was basically put on to wedding duties, which is something fun coming up.
Closing in on you.
Yeah. Do you reckon we should Facebook Live some of
No.
Just as a side note, would anyone like to see some Facebook Live at my wedding? We could arrange it. You may actually see me getting stabbed by my bride-to-be, because I don't think she'd particularly enjoy that.
No,
but there we go.
I can't say she would. Obviously, that set up our final of France, Elite Business IT versus Croatia, Sally Parkinson Photography.
What a final!
Incredible
just
final.
as an aside, like as rubbish as I'm picking my words very carefully. As terrible as the redundant England Bees versus Belgium Bees Saturday playoff was, the final was brilliant.
Unbelievable. The most goals since 1966 in a final. We all know who won that one, and it was the same score, 4-2. France 4-2 victory. It was 4-1, and then the Spurs goalkeeper showed his class by passing it straight into the foot of the Croatian forwards to give them a second goal. But Sam thinks that was an elaborate ploy on Spurs' part in order to not tempt Real Madrid to buy the Spurs goalkeeper, and in fact tempt him to buy Courtois from Chelsea.
I think Poch got on the phone at half time, said, Hugo, it's, as they say in France, dans le sac, which is French for in the bag, if you will. You see? You learn stuff. Yeah, education. He's like, Hugo, it's dans le sac, don't worry about it, son. We want to keep you at the lane, so just go easy.
Just try and dribble around the striker.
Yeah,
and
which he did attempt, but you know that did end up with Courtois with the Golden Glove.
Absolutely.
So imagine that he would be a top target for Real now.
Yes, as would Eden Hazard, who was the runner-up for the Golden Ball. Third place for the Golden Balls. Griezmann Golden Ball is the player of the tournament, and that of course went to Luka Modric, former Spurs. Captain of Croatia. He had a remarkable tournament. Unlucky to be on the losing side, but France were too strong in the end, too powerful for them.
And on the subject of Spurs, again, who ended up with the Golden Boot?
Harry Kane.
Admittedly, 3 of those came from penalties, so I think that's kind of ridiculous.
One just deflected off his foot as well.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 were headers. So not great goals, but goals nonetheless. And he will be written down in history as the first person since Gary Lineker to finish as the top scorer as an English player.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Gary Lineker might be the only English one.
Yes, I think no, unless 1966.
I don't know if Jeff Hurst did. I'm not sure. I think one of the Brazilians might have scored in.
I have a funny feeling it might have been actually one of the Portuguese. I think it may actually be Eusebio. So potentially.
Let us know.
Ollie, can you look that up?
1966 top scorer.
Yeah, who won the Golden Boot in 1966?
Meanwhile, in this tournament here, where the top scorers overall in the tournament were Belgium with 16 goals, and they actually had 10 different scorers, which is unbelievable.
I think I'd just go show the breadth of quality then.
Absolutely.
It looks like I was correct.
Eusebio.
Yes.
Good knowledge, that's
Thank
well
you.
done. The Fair Play Award went to Spain, so I'm assuming they committed the least fouls, the least yellow cards, etc.
To be fair, they weren't in it for long, so...
Absolutely.
And that actually surprises me as well, when you got...
Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, both Ramos and Costa.
How on earth they didn't... To be fair, yeah, I think Ramos probably should have been booked a few more times than he was.
Yeah.
The best young player went to Mbappe, who scored in the final, of course, and became the first teenager to score in the final since Pele, and the second youngest scorer in a final ever. Griezmann and Lukaku both scored 4 goals each, so they were the runners-up for the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
France and Belgium, respectively. So yeah, that was the end of it, which meant our winners of our marketing prizes: Elite Business IT clinching the half-day marketing session, Sally Parkinson, Rachel Richards, Uniform 7, Dan Smith, Sports Designer Physio, all getting the 90-minute session, and of course our wooden spoon prize going to Adam from Maynard Heady for Costa Rica.
So that is a whole lot of marketing advice that we're giving away there. That is a total of...
I'm not good with maths.
No, we do marketing. We don't
marketing,
do
not
maths.
maths. But either way, if you are one of those who got to the semi-finals, or you are Adam with the Wooden Spoon Prize, get in touch with Sam to organise when you'd like that marketing consultancy session, whether you want it to be in person, on Skype, on phone, whatever suits you. We're happy to do that.
Yeah. So that sort of brings... Ollie, have you got a...
309 minutes.
309 minutes?
90.
390 minutes. That's a lot of minutes.
Absolutely. You know what else had a lot of minutes in it? This World
World
Cup had a lot of
what a link.
last minute goals. So this World Cup had more 90th plus minute winning goals than any other tournament. So there was 9 goals to win a match in the 90th minute or more. The highest before that was 4, so it's over double. So that's pretty exciting. This is all part of the "was this the best World Cup ever?" question for you. The amount of previous World Cup wins by the 4 semi-finalists was just 2. So France won, England won before this World Cup, and of course Belgium and Croatia hadn't had any.
Yeah.
So there was only 2 wins between the 4 semi-finalists, whereas last World Cup there was 10 wins between the 4 semi-finalists.
So obviously it's the second World Cup that France have won. The last one 20 years ago in 1998.
Absolutely.
Before young Oliver was born.
Yeah. And Didier Deschamps played in that World Cup and managed France in this World Cup. So third person,
third,
player manager.
Yeah, after Franz Beckenbauer and one of the Brazilians that I cannot remember off the top of my head.
One of them. There was 169 goals in 64 games. So it's 2.6 goals per match. Which is pretty damn good, really. And there was only 1-0 in the entire tournament. And I think there was every single team scored as well. Often you'll get smaller countries who don't get any goals, but every single participant scored, including Panama, thanks to England letting them get their first ever World Cup goal.
So good for England. I think that just sort of like goes on for us to now sort of pose the question: is this the best World Cup ever?
Most own goals ever, 12. There was only 6 was the highest before this World Cup. 43% of goals from set pieces. Is that good? Is that bad? England probably gave a huge percentage of that.
I love trying.
And the highest scoring final, as I said, since 1966. So yeah, do you think this was the best World Cup ever?
What do you think?
Ollie?
Well, it's probably the only World Cup you've ever seen, isn't it?
So
You're
I
like,
remember.
I don't know, you're
I don't remember.
5, aren't you? No, you're not that big. Wildly illegal to employ you at that point. So, what do you think? Best World Cup?
Yeah, so far.
Yeah?
We haven't won yet, so well, we win best World Cup, but yeah.
What?
Spoilers, we have won. It was in 1966.
Yeah, but this is the best one. The one that I've been alive for.
Oh, right, yeah, that was kind of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike?
I think so. I think there's been so many shocks along the way, so many crazy goals. Like if you saw the goals of the competition, they were an incredible set of goals. The winner eventually went to Belgium's 95th minute breakaway goal against Japan to win it 3-2. So it was a real team effort that.
I think for me, it's definitely well up there in terms of World Cups. I'd say the only other two that I could compare it with is France '98, because that's the first World Cup that I really remember.
Best song by
that was
far.
brilliant.
Carnival de Paris.
Absolutely, check that out. Maybe that could be the Facebook Lives that we do at the wedding. But the other one as well that really springs to mind that was brilliant is South Africa in 2010.
Vuvuzelas, of course.
Vuvuzelas, but also I was in Barcelona or Granada? I was somewhere in Spain for a lot of that World Cup. Definitely for, I can't remember if it was the final or the semi-final, yeah. And it was immense. I mean, we're talking, I pretty much wore a Spanish flag for a couple of days, just like as a cape. There were people partying in the streets until the early hours of the morning. People just sort of like letting fireworks off. It was just the most crazy party atmosphere. And I think sort of like that, and just being in a country that's experiencing that as well, was just great. Didn't see them sort of damaging any ambulances though. Did
No,
you?
or breaking into cars and stealing phones out of them.
So
Only the English. Idiots.
So I think there was sort of like just a slight lapse into moral judgment, isn't there? Which we'll apologise for, because I think we're both kind of disappointed that England didn't get through to the final.
I think this was our biggest chance in terms of such an easy journey to the final compared to other World Cups. So. But what can you do? There are lessons to be learned from this World Cup, though, both for the players who participated and for us.
Businesses, yeah. We got a fair few of them as well, haven't we?
Absolutely. So the first lesson we've got coming out of this World Cup, quite an obvious one, maybe not applicable in all scenarios, but junior staff sometimes know better than you think.
Yep, absolutely.
So start this competition, Ollie said...
So on the subject of this, come in. Internally,
come on down.
Hello again.
So, junior staff, knowing better than you. We were both dead cynical when we were doing the draw that England would crash out in the group stages,
All the quarters.
or even before that. But what did you say?
No, we're going to win. I was quite confident they're going to win. We'll get through at least.
Yeah.
You might need to duck down.
And
Oh, well.
and what happened?
We got through because I was supporting them.
Yeah,
Ollie's
purely
support.
because of Ollie's support.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that England did really well, much better than Mike or myself thought they were going to,
Mm-hmm.
because we were looking at it through sort of slightly older, jaded eyes. And the fact of the matter is, sometimes your junior staff do know better than you,
Mm-hmm.
and you should let them take ownership of that. When just take a step back and just think, am I the best person to make judgment call on this?
Let them run ideas. Obviously, young minds are generally more creative and come out with different solutions to things. So, yeah, maybe that's a lesson that could be applying to some of your businesses out there as well.
Yeah.
The next lesson we had was small competitors can beat big ones with the right strategies.
Absolutely. So, I think we certainly saw that with, well, to an extent, all four of the semi-finalists actually, because certainly going in, you wouldn't look at those four teams and say, okay, so that's going to be your final four. Maybe with the exception of France, but even then, you may have even sort of like picked an Argentina or
Brazil, Germany,
Brazil, Germany,
Spain,
Portugal as well, with their recent success at the Euros, potentially ahead of that team. But the fact of the matter is, we ended up with a final four of France, Belgium, England, and Croatia.
Belgium overcoming Brazil, France overcoming Argentina,
England overcoming not a lot. But the fact of the matter is that every single one of those teams tended to have a game plan which they stuck to. I think that's point in case with England doing so well out of their set pieces.
Yeah.
You're right there.
Yeah.
Just struggling. Croatia, obviously, with really tight midfield. They knew what they were doing. They did it really well, and were successful because of that as well.
Absolutely. And what Belgium certainly showed in their game against Brazil was our other lesson, which is, of course, is important for a business or a manager or a business owner to be flexible, agile, and have multiple plans. So in Belgium's game against Brazil, they completely changed the formation. They've been playing the same formation the entire competition until that point. They then switched it up to 4 defenders rather than 3. Had the 3 in attack, had Lukaku coming out on the right. And it surprised Brazil, so much so that Belgium were the deserved winners of that game.
And the fact of the matter is that there are going to be things like that come and face you in business where you're doing something in a certain way for a certain period of time, and you get so far down the road and it's like, okay, now we need to change the strategy, and if you are willing to recognise that, be flexible, and take that on board, then you can do that with some success.
Particularly when it comes to marketing, being adaptive and reacting to trends, reacting to different things going on in your areas of expertise. It's important to be able to do that and to be able to put yourself out there at the right times, which is something that we try to do with all of our clients here at Silver Compass, in many different ways, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your fourth lesson, Sam, you said calm nerves and maturity.
Yeah, and that was in particular with the Croatia team as well. This is almost like the inverse of the lesson that we learned from Belgium, in that yes, sometimes there are going to be times when you need to be quick, adaptable, flexible, and by its very nature, there are going to be other times of business where you need to be calm-headed, focused, and there are going to be times when you need to not make those changes because you actually have got a plan, you're working to the plan, and over a period of time, that plan will work for you. Sometimes it just needs a little bit more time to germinate and for you to follow through with it.
Yeah, particularly with marketing strategies, they often take time to come into course. So often, I know when Sam's ran campaigns in the past for different clients, he's always made sure to say, look, it won't be an absolute instant thing. It's something that builds and grows, and then before you know it, it's there, it's delivering results, and that's certainly what a lot of the teams during the competition had. And then obviously it's about making the substitutions at the right moment as well, and so knowing when to change it and when to bring in something different, which is what Germany didn't do. They certainly just stuck to a very slow, casual approach, which obviously saw them finish bottom of the group, surprisingly. One of the lessons I thought about as well was offering something to your customers. So what Russia did in this World Cup was they said that anyone with a ticket to a match could have free travel across Russia. So it's identifying an area which might put customers off or might put people off in terms of, right, Russia's a huge country, how am I going to get around? Russia then identified that problem and said, look, here's what's going to happen. Anyone coming to a game can travel across the country for free. So it's about being able to offer something.
But more importantly than that, offering something truly of value.
Absolutely. So I think that was very good. And obviously, before the World Cup, a lot of people were like very reluctant to go there. They thought there'd be a lot of trouble. From what I've heard, there's been very little trouble, if any.
Not heard anything.
Absolutely.
No.
And the travel side of it, obviously it's a big country, it's going to take long, but I haven't heard too many complaints on that front either. Imagine if there was a World Cup in England and the trains here would be absolutely woeful. And that's a far smaller journey than it is in Russia. So yeah, I think that's one of the other lessons. And the final lesson is that big sporting events bring people together, and in some ways people have said it's brought the country together.
Yeah.
And it certainly brings the whole world together to pay attention to this one tournament. I saw in the final there were fans of all sorts of countries sitting in that stadium in the final, just there to enjoy the event and pick a particular team and
enjoy
support
the
them.
spectacle. Yeah,
Absolutely. And just think of English football clubs, and if there was a fan of another club in a stadium, I can't imagine they'd avoid getting yelled at or hit. And yet here we are in Russia, and there's all sorts of people all in the same area, just enjoying the World Cup. So I think it's a very good atmosphere, very good thing, really.
I think there's one more lesson
Absolutely.
that you can take away from this as well. This is a very direct thing that you can start doing now. Do more Facebook Lives. We've had so much fun doing these. We've had lots of great comments as well, and just a great deal of enjoyment and feedback, sort of from not just our clients, but just friends, people that we know through business, and you know, I think it's something that we're going to be certainly doing a lot more of ourselves going forward as well.
Absolutely. If you've got something to shout about, get it out there. Facebook Live's a very easy way to do that.
And sort of given the way in which the Facebook algorithm works as well, it's the most receptive, or it's the type of content that Facebook is happiest to put in front of the majority of your page followers and fans ahead of others. So it almost is nonsensical to sort of leave it out of the equation.
Absolutely. Ollie, is there anything you had any thoughts about the World Cup, or anything at all that we haven't gone across?
No. I think you've covered most of it. Facebook Live, it's a good idea. Good chat.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us on the Silver Comes World Cup. keeping up with our videos, whether it was just the one you watched, whether it was all of them, the comments, the likes, and just embracing with us, joining in the competition. And I hope you enjoyed that, watching your team go far or not go so far.
Absolutely. Thank you to the 32 businesses that took part and were one of the, basically drew a team from our selection.
Absolutely, it's been great to get to know more about your businesses and also to put you out there a little bit, which we've been trying to do. And
I think all that remains to say is just keep your eyes peeled for some other cool projects that we're going to be working on over the next couple of weeks and months. We may even sneak a little Facebook Live into the wedding.
Good luck with that.
You're very keen.
Good luck.
Yeah, these guys don't think it's going to happen, but it might. So, until next time, see you later.
We think it's all over.
It is now.